Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Dale. Welcome back to this Python for Finance series. In the previous lessons, we just learned how to create these main plot functions for the candlestick chart along with the moving average plot and also the Bollinger Bands. And we also learned how to create the subplot for the MACD and also the RSI. So now it's time for us to build a simple strategies along with a profit functions so that when we backtest our strategies for the past 2 years with more than 500 trading days samples, we can calculate how much that we gain or how much that we lose. And of course, in the last lessons, I also showed you how to save the trading day result in image, which allow us to further study our own strategies. In these lessons, we will build a moving average crossover strategies and a profit functions. So in any cases, you can simply replace these moving average strategies and deploy and backtest your own strategies. That is very flexible. There are lots of things that we can play around with these setups. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we dive into the programming parts, let's learn a bit of the moving average crossovers, the trading strategies. And in order to day trade crossover, the first decisions that we have to make is to select 2 or 3 moving average that are somehow related to one another. For example, 10, 20, because 10 is half of the 20, something like that. And then the second things that we need to do is to understand the triggering point for trading the moving average crossover. A buy or sell, that is the signals that is triggered once the smaller or the slower moving average cross above or below the faster or larger moving average respectively. So in that case, for example, for this example, here you can see that this is the buying signal when we have full free moving average lines over here, and then the faster is the blue line, that is the 13 smooth moving average, and then this lower one, that is the 26 and also 100 smooth moving average. In that case, you can see that the fast cross over the slower moving average. In that case, it will trigger a buying signal. On the other hand, when the fast cross under the slower moving average, in this case, just like the blue, cross under the red and then cross under the green, and then that will trigger an exit signal or a short entry signal. So in this case, if we pair these tradings together, you can see we can take a profit between these 2 gaps. And that is the whole point of using the moving average to trigger the buying and also the selling signal, and then take the profit between the gap. Now, if we implement in our trading strategy, it would be something like this. So for example, this is one of the trading days for the SPY, which is an S&P ETF fund. And then you can see the fast moving average, that is the pink line, and then the slower one, that is the orange and also the blue line over here. And they are somehow related because that is a multiplier of 5. And here you can see the pink line over here will trigger the entry, that is the buying signal, when it's moved above the slower moving average. And then for the exit over here, you can see that that is the pink line moving under, causing under the 2 moving average over here. And this is the first pair. And the second opportunities we see here is that against the pink moving average, that is the faster moving average, is causing over the 2 slower moving average over here. That is the entry point. And then here is the exit point because the fastest moving average line is causing under these two moving average. And the final example is over here against the fast moving average line, that is the pink line, is moving across, moving over the two moving average, the two slower moving average line, and then that will trigger the entry. And then for the exit, that is somewhere over here, because the faster moving average just cross under these two slower moving average lines. So this is what we are going to build in this example. Now we understand what we are going to build. Now let's create the moving average strategy functions. The first things that I need is the data. That is the data on that particular date. And then I will need to create 3 moving average, which is exactly what we did in the main plot when we enables the moving average lines. However, I'm not going to pass it over to the moving average strategies because sometimes we might not want to enable them. So in that case, but still we would like to apply the strategies. So I just we calculate this again. But of course you can embed it with the show m8 over there. But in my example, I just we create this data, and then once we create these 3 moving average that we are going to use, that is the 5 minutes moving average, 10 minutes moving average, and also 20 minutes moving average, we can then build 3 lists. That is the buying list, the selling list, and also the record list. So the buy list is just to help me to show the buy in the graph, and then the sell is to just let me to show the sales in the graph. And then for the records, this is help me to records the buy and sell over the intraday. That means it will let me know when and at how much did I buy the stock or sell the stock. And finally, that is a positions. This is just to allow me to show whether or not we can do the short selling. So over here, I just set it as false. It means that we are not going to do the short selling in this simple moving average strategies. And now it's time for us to create the logic. First thing first, we will loop through the entire date. So we create a for loop, and then these moving average strategies will appear after these 20 minutes moving average, because if we do not have any moving average 20s, we are not going to play around with these strategies. So things happens after 20 minutes, but that is okay, because remember that we already recalled the 30 minutes pre-market data. So in that case, for 20 minutes, that means we still have 10 minutes before we enter the market. So that means even you change it to 30 minutes, is still doable. And start your moving average strategies right at the core trading sections. So in any particular moment, we would like to check if whether or not these data moving average 5 minutes is above these 10 minutes and 20 minutes moving average. We would like to check it whether it's over or below. So in that case, if that is, sorry about that, if that is, if the 5 minutes moving average data is over the moving average 10 minutes data, and at the same time, if this moving average is also above this moving average 20, so in that case, just something like this, that is the pink line that is above the 2 moving average. So you can see the logic is to check if this moving average is above these 2 slow moving average. So if yes, and then we will check our positions to see whether or not we are holding any stocks. So if we are not holding any stock, and then we will just trigger the buy signal. And then in that case, we will just append the buy with the closing price. And then for the sell, we are not going to append anything. And now the positions is equals to true, because now we are holding some stock. And for the record, I would like to append 3 things. The first is the number of candles that trigger this buying signal, or you can later on change it to the times as well. That depends on your usage, but in this case I will just recall it the number of candles or the number of minutes in this example. And then I will also recall the closing price, which is much like how much that we buy, and of course I will just recall it as a buying record. But if we are not holding, that means our positions is equals to true, because we are holding stock. We are not going to buy and we are not going to sell anything, because the market is going up. So in that case, we are not going to do anything. Now we just set up these entry logic. And the next things that we need to set up is the exit logic. The exit logic is very similar. Here, that else if these moving average, the faster moving average is below the 10 minutes moving average and also below the 20 minutes moving average, that means this is the chance that we should exit. This is the chance that we should sell our stock. But in that case, first things that we need to check whether or not we hold anything. So we need to check the positions. And if we are holding something, that means if we are holding the stock, of course we can sell the stock. But we are not going to buy anything. So the buy appends NAN, but the sell for this time, we are not going to append the NAN. We just append the price over here. So that is the selling price. And because we just sell the stock, what we are going to do is that we need to set the position back to false. And then for the record, in this case, we will just we call the number of candles or the number of minutes, and then the closing price, and then just change this to a sell to make sure we know that when we buy and when we sell. But of course, on the other hand, is that if we are not holding anything, and because we are not allowed short selling, in that case we just do nothing. And finally, if there's no signal, if there's no buying or selling signal, and of course we will do nothing. We are not going to buy anything, or we are not going to sell anything. And of course, if there's no moving FH for the 20 minutes, we will not do anything. Well, now we just set up the entire strategy. What I wanted to do is to put it back to the original data frame with the buy list and also the sell list, and then return this data frame and also the record that we have. And the next things that I need to do, we just set up these strategies, and the next things that I need to do is to bring these strategies back to the main part. And over here, let's refresh our memories to take a quick look on what we are going to show in the main part. First things, I would like to show the buying signal and also the selling signal that will trigger the buy-sell actions along with the daily chart. And then next, on the right-hand side of the chart, you can see the buying price, and also whether or not it's a buy or sell. And if that is a buy, that will show me the buy and at what price. And on the other hand, that is the if that is a sales actions, it will let me know this is a sales at what price. And then at the top, you can see that will also sum up all these trades to see how much that we gain or how much that we lost per lot. And within the days, that is the daily profit. And then the total profits here is another calculations that we will build in the functions. And this is the total profits for the entire 2 years or up to the date. So for example, if you have 10 trading days, 10 examples, then of course that is total profits for the 10 trading days. And then it will just add up all these samples, these results together, and show you the total profits for the past for your backtext data. And that is what I want to show. So the first things, let's build this scatter buy sell signal. Just retrieve the result from these MA strategies, and this is the data that we provide in these MA strategies. Of course, it will also show me the result with the if you remembered, that is the with 2 added columns, that is a buy and sell column, which shows our buy sell actions. And then of course it will also return me a list of the records for the entire day. And now I'm going to use the scale plot And for the x-axis, I'm going to use the index, and then for the y-axis, I'm going to use the buy, data buy, and I will just label it with the buy, and then the marker that I'm going to use is a triangle pointing upwards, and then the color is a green color, and then the alpha is 1 s equals to 150. So the alpha is whether or not it's transparent, and I just said it's not a transparent marker, and the s is the marker size. And this is for the buy. For the sell, I just change it to the sell, and change it to the sell, and the marker, and the color, and the marker is pointing downwards, and the color is pink, and that is the scatter plot, and this will show the plot like this with the buy sell actions along with the moving average, or along with the candlestick. And the next things that I want to do is to show the record. I just set I equals to 1 here, and then print out all the records and show it on the right hand side of the chart. And the message that I would like to show for each of the trade, that includes the numbers, that is the number of the trades that happens within the day, and then that is the whether or not it's a buy or sell actions, and at what price. So this is the message that I want to show. So if the is a buy signal, I will have a green color for it, and then if that is not a buy, then of course that is a sell. That is a sell signal, and then in that case I will give you a color in red. So in that case, I would like to point out the positions first. And then the message with a bounding box that is color green, that is face color equals to green, and then the transparency just set it 50%, and then the rest is very similar to what we did. We use the trans-axis transform, the color in white, that is the font color, that is the font that is in white, and the font size is 9, and then full font weight is blue, and then the alignments, just horizontal alignment, just make it to the left hand side, and then vertical alignment, just make it in the center of this bounding box. And because this is a buy, I also need to update the profit. And here at the very beginning, we do not have any profit, so I just set it profit equals to 0. Because this is a buy actions, so that means we need to spend some money. So we need to minus the price. This is the price. And because this is a test, so I use a string for this price to convert it to a string, and then I use the float method to convert this price. So it allows me to do the profit calculations. Because I want to show the trade one by one, so you can see that the text has to move down. Therefore, in that case, I will just set it as a margins over here and set it equals to 0.595. That is the starting point. And then I'll just change it to the margin. And for each time this margin will just minus 0.055. Make sure that it has, make sure that it has a lot overlapping with each others. And then the trade numbers, I will just add 1. And for this times, just in case, if this is not a buy actions, I just like to change it to a sell actions. So in that case, the colors is changed to wet, and then for the west, that would be the same. But because this is a selling actions, that means that there will be some money coming back to our account. So I just use a plus. In my strategy, I just would like to make sure that the trades pair ups. That means when we have a buy actions, then we would like to make sure that it has a sell actions within the days. So in that case, sometimes there might be a buying signal at the end of the day, but we do not have a sell signal. In that case, I would like to just cancel out these trades to make sure that I'm not going to buy anything before the end of the day. Or on the other hand, you can set a time limit, or say in the last 30 minutes, you are not going to make any trades, something like that. But in my case, I will just cancel out this trade. So how do I do that? If the record in the last trade is a buy signal, it's a buy actions. In that case, I will just use these profit calculations to offset these results. But in this case, I will just change it back to the buying price and also the selling price to match them together. In this case, because we are going to have these buy actions, and this is the buying price, and I just use the profit plus, that means this is going to offset this buying price, so that the profits will just it's just like cancel out the trade. And finally, I just want to show the daily profit in X. So that is the daily profit, and just set at the top right hand corners, and then with the message is like a daily profit, how much is that, and that is the total profits, that is sum of all the trades that you've done within the day. And then the message is per lot, past that. And then again, we are going to just use the bounding box to color bounding box to just put the text inside this bounding box, and then the color is black, and then the font size, the bounding box is white in color, and then the font is black, and the font size is 16, bold it, and of course, finally, I also would like to put it, the horizontal alignment is left and vertical alignment is center. Just want to make sure that it aligns on the very left-hand side of the bounding box and make sure the text is inside in the middle of the bounding box. Now we just show the scatter plots over here for the buy and sell signal, and then I also list out the buy sell throughout the day, and also I just showed you this daily profit. The final things that I need to do is to sum up all the trading days, all the backtest samples, to show you the total profit throughout the entire sample with the strategies that we deploy. So in that case, we will build a functions to calculate the total profit. There are two ways that you can do that. The first way is to just write down it into a test folder, test files, and then show the result. On the other hand, you can also use the save the records into a CSV file, and later on you can just refer to what kind of trades that you've done with the strategies. So here I just take it simple approach to just write it down into a test file, and then I will overwrite the test file, but it will help me to sum up all the profits throughout the backtest data. The first things that I would like to do is to make sure that if this is the first example, if this is the first trading day, I just want to make sure that the temp.text, the value that inside this text is a 0. So in that case, I will have a temp test file over here. I just want to make sure that at the very beginning, I just set this file for these values equals to 0. That is what I would like to do if that is the first case. And just in case, if this is not the first case, I will just open this file, and then, of course, read the value. And in this case, just open this file and then with this value. And then once I have this value, I will just add it with the profit. And now we have the total profit. And I will write this back to this temp file. So just write this total profit in this temp file, so that later on for each of the times that it run through the data set, it will just refer our total balance in the previous backtest trading, and then just say adding up the profits or minus the loss, something like that for each of the updates. And then it will continue to update the test file and show it over to the chart. To show it over to the chart, I will just again use the text functions and just put it on the top right hand corners, and the message is total profits, and that is these current profits, that is the total profit with 3 significant figures and for per lot. And again, I'm going to use a bounding box, which is an orange color bounding box. And for the text color, I will just use the right color, font size 16, bold the font. And then for the horizontal alignment and vertical alignments, similar to what we did before, just set it on the right left hand side and make it to the center of the bounding box. And finally, what we need to do is just to comment this compute profit. So what we are passing, there are three arguments that we pass into this compute profit. That is includes the profit that is the daily profit coming from this particular trading days, and then how many days that we that within this animation functions, or you could consider that how many backtext that we've done so far. So for example, if this is 1, that means we've done two backtexts so far, because we have the 0 and 1. And then for this one, this is the axis, because we want to use the we want to put it on the main chart on the top right hand corner. So that is the exit 1, and just call out these compute profits functions and pass it on for these three arguments, and then it will of course returns the total profit. That is the current profit for the backtexting so far. So if I run this, let's see if I've done it correctly. I just open the backtext folder. Just let it run for a few days. And here we go. Excellent. Now we have the tray over here. That is the scatter plot. And then we have the list of the trades throughout the day. And also we have the daily profits. And finally, we have the total profits. So far, we have 3 days. So the total profits is 0.215, something like that. When I save this image, it's just cut out some letters. So please feel free to move it a little bit on the left hand side. And that's it for this video. But before we end this video, I just would like to highlight that here just later on, just in case if you would like to build your own strategies, you can just replace the things over here, or just simply change some logics over here, and then it will show you very similar results. There are 2 more things that I would like to do in the future lessons. The first thing is to build different trading strategies, unlike these simple moving average strategies. So that would include those much more sophisticated one. The second thing that I would like to do is to make this setup, make this environment like a simulated environment for improving our trading skills or for training our trading skills. So please subscribe, stay tuned, and comment and let me know what you would like me to do. So see you in the next video. Bye bye.